Fanatic Radio is America's premier sports music program.
It's an essential part of our society, like hot dogs and Cadillacs.
With Mike Gardner and Ben Florence providing unique insight from the wide world of sports.
He should just retire so we can dip him in bronze and ship him to the Hall of Fame.
Playing only the hottest music.
The only thing we ever play on the show is Motown and R&B.
And always striving for perfection.
We're climbing the ladder to success, escalator style. Yes!
See for yourself. Check out Fanatic Radio, only on Blog Talk Radio.
As we are now joined here for our weekly conversation by David Wharton of the LA Times. Thank you once again for joining us on the show, and welcome back.
Thanks very much. Good to be here.
First off, from an LA perspective, it'd be very interesting to know, well, what is going to happen to the Clippers now that they are officially out of the playoffs? Where does from a team's perspective, where do they go from here?
Well, I think the big question is what happens with Donald Sterling. By all indications, he's going to fight in any way he can think of to keep that team. And while that's all going on, there's really a question of how the players are going to react and how Coach Doc Rivers is going to react. A number of the players and Rivers have said that they don't want to play for that team if Sterling is still the owner. So things could get kind of ugly as we get closer to next season. Sterling is still around, and if he brings this whole thing into court, he could be around for a couple of years.
I was going to say, he is refusing to pay the fine imposed by Adam Silver, and then he goes on Anderson Cooper. Do you think that Donald Sterling is making his case even worse with all these interviews and with all the drama that's slowly growing?
Well, no one can quite figure out why he went on Anderson Cooper. I have to say, that was a very strange appearance, and his wife, we'll call her his former wife, they're still technically married, Shelley Sterling, went out and said, hey, listen, we believe he may be suffering from early dementia. And after seeing what he did on television and hearing some of the things he said, you just have to wonder, with his attitude towards race aside, is he really sound enough to be running an NBA team right now? And it just doesn't seem like it to me.
Is it fair for his wife to be fighting for the team? A lot of people are giving Shelley Sterling a lot of flack because she still connects. She's been with Donald Sterling for all these years and still is tied to the name. But the fact that she is sticking up for keeping the team, is she in the right for wanting to keep the Clippers, or would she be better just to put all this behind her?
I think she'd be far better putting this behind her. Also, you have to remember that even if you were to transfer ownership fully to Shelley, the NBA Board of Governors would still have to approve it. The other voters would still have to vote her in. And I don't think there's any way they'll do that. So regardless of what she wants, she might have to go to court when this all comes down to if she's that determined. But I don't think the other owners are going to vote to approve her as the owner. I think they're going to try to force her out as well.
From an LA perspective, how has this whole fiasco adapted or changed from when it first happened to the banning of Sterling to 3 weeks down the road today?
I think that, people around the country may not have the same feel for it that we do here. Sterling has always been a ridiculed person here. He's never been liked. For a long time he was seen as a guy who could turn a small profit on the team without spending any money, without putting good players on the court. Time and again, they would be a lousy team that would get a high draft pick. They'd bring someone in, and as soon as that rookie contract was done, whoever it was would hit the road. And the Clippers would never get good for any sustained period of time. So he's never been a liked person here. He's always been just a negative character in terms of LA sports fans. So I don't know that so much has changed. I think maybe a little of the focus has shifted from, okay, now Sterling's really blown and now everyone can see who he is, to thinking that, maybe, that he maybe screwed this season up for a team that was quite good and had high expectations. So maybe some of the focus has shifted away from just complete ridicule to feeling sympathetic about the team and feeling bad about what happened. But I don't know that anyone here is totally shocked. This is the guy that we always thought Donald Sterling was.
He's David Wharton of the LA Times joining us here on Fanatic Radio. Clippers interim CEO Dick Parsons said the franchise will, quote, become America's team if we get this right. How much power is in his hands to sort of make amends on the situation?
You know, it's a good question, and I'm not really sure. I mean, I think the courts are going to have something to say about that, because if Sterling does file a lawsuit, you know, he might be able to stop, you know, the NBA and the NBA trustee from making any big moves, and he's still going to keep his name in there. So I don't really know what you can really do for the team or the image of the team if Sterling is still in place as the owner, even if it's an embattled owner.
Overall, was this a good season for the Clippers, making the Western Conference semifinals under new head coach?
Yeah, it was a good season. I think the only thing that fans are thinking about right now is, you know, the Game 5 loss and what that says about Chris Paul. He's very, very popular. He's done so much for the team, but he does have that stigma in some circles of not being a big game player. And with the Clippers losing that lead in the final 45, 50 seconds, and Paul making a number of mistakes, I think that people are wondering, well, you know, does he have what it takes? Do the Clippers, you know, will they mature to the point where they can get past these sorts of playoff series and get into the finals?
All right, we'll get you out of here on this, David. The Anaheim Ducks are in Game 7 tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern on NBC Sportsnet against local rival LA Kings. Been a very exciting series. Can the one-seeded Ducks get it done to take on the Blackhawks?
You would think so, especially at home. But as we know, home ice hasn't meant much either in this series or any other playoff series this postseason. And, you know, after what the Kings did, I mean, they've got a very veteran group that's been through a lot. After what they did coming back down 3 games, you know, making history, or at least joining a very small group of teams in history to have come back from that deficit, I really wouldn't count the Kings out, even though it's in the Honda Center and they'll be facing a hostile crowd. I think that this is a very tough group that's been through, as I said, been through a lot together, and it's going to be a tough game, I think.
All right, he's David Wharton of the LA Times joining us here on Fanatic Radio. Thanks once again for your time. Love to talk to you soon.
All right, thanks very much.